Hey folks, it's Nick Granville. So today I thought I'd talk about some funk guitar stuff. Had quite a few questions about this, so I thought it's worth addressing in a video. So funk guitar, it's probably something I do the most of. It's probably mostly, I think, where my heart lies in music, is in funk music, groove music, soul music, R&B, all these sorts of things. So there's 5 main things that I do when I play this music. First one, tiny chords. Now, Mark Lettieri has a course on this. You should go and check it out. Mark's a bad dude. He's one of my favourite guitar players. Great human being. Go and check out that course because it's more in depth. But I'll give you a little insight into what he calls tiny chords. So now, if we have a C minor chord, just, this... It's just too much to play all of that, right? So I think the better thing to do is just to play... That's all it needs. Or... just C minor, just top 3 notes. And there I'm just playing part of a C minor chord. Could be that, whichever. Doesn't really matter which voicing for now. It's the concept of we're just going to play tiny chords. Right, and you're creating a groove, right? Right, so tiny chords. I mean, Nile Rodgers. Go and listen to Rob Harris, really great funk player too. Mark Lettieri, also super funky. Jimmy James, go and listen to Jimmy James, real funky player, plays a lot of these tiny chords. So tiny chords is number 1. Number 2, bubblegum guitar funk. So this was always called bubblegum when I was growing up and learning how to play, mostly because it was like the MJ type stuff, those sort of things, the single note stuff like that. I mean, the classic one is for like Billie Jean, the keyboard part would go, and then David Williams went, right? Those sorts of parts, like David Williams is really the king of that. So those were what we'd call the bubblegum guitar parts, and that's number 2. Number 3, I would say, is wah-wah, and this is something I use quite a bit. If I'm playing, like I do a lot of gigs where I'm just turning up, there's no rehearsal, and we're going to try and make some music real quick. So wah-wah is one of my favourite to use for it. I've got an auto wah here, but you can use a real wah, whichever. It's in the Fractal. And I'm not particularly playing any chords. I'm just kind of playing what we used to call the waka waka. So you see I'm occasionally kind of hitting chords and accenting things and stuff, but really it's about that right? And there's so many different ways you can do that. That's on an auto wah, but if I had a normal wah, I might sweep through notes, all kinds of things. That's a really cool sound. I remember one time we were doing a TV show. It was in New Zealand. It's called Dancing with the Stars. I think it's called Strictly Come Dancing in other countries and what have you. But I remember one of the celebrities coming up to me and he was like, "Oh man," he goes, "I really love that waka 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 thing you're doing." And I was like, "Oh, I guess that's what you call it." I was like, "Wow, right?" Because it creates it's funk music, right? That's the first thing that people think of when they hear that sound. So I use that, and especially I don't need to know harmony with it. I can just play some rhythm parts, and it doesn't really get in the way too much. It's really almost filling the role of like percussion, right? It's pretty cool. Riffs, number 4. So, 2 of my favourite riffs would be Sing a Simple Song by Sly and the Family Stone. If you haven't seen the Double Drummer Funk video that I posted a couple of days ago, whenever it was, we started in E and we just played Third Stone from the Sun, stuff like that. And then I went in to Sing a Simple Song because it's one of my favourite funk riffs. It's just such a great riff, and I think riffs work really well in funk music. So, explore some riffs. Another one of my favorites would have to be play that funky music. Right? It just, again, it's a cool riff that kind of creates a vibe, and that's kind of a lot of what I'm looking at. Number 5. Last one, I like to impart some jazz chords in funk music. I mean, funk and jazz, a lot of the funk musicians in the early days of funks, 70s especially, these guys were jazz guys, so there were jazz things going on, right? So like fourth chords are really useful. So if I take it, I'm in key of C, for example. If I just choose any note, let's say F, go up to the next note that's a fourth above it, B flat, and go up a fourth again to E flat, and I'll just use that chord, right? And then I'll move it up through the scale. Say I'm in Dorian. These voicings. They're just fourths, right? And it might be... You see there I sort of injected some colour with an E flat major 7, D flat major 7, lean back to the C. So they're sort of jazz-ish chords, but I'm not using them in a jazz sense. I'm just using them as pretty colourful harmony. So that's 5 things that I would do when I'm playing funk music. 5 different approaches. No one approach always works. One approach will work one time, one will work another time. I'm always asking the question of myself, what needs to happen right now? If I'm playing with a band and it's really funky and it's cooking and it's like, it's really, really happening, and I'm not necessarily doing much, then I just stay doing that. I think the thing that a lot of people mistake with funk music is they start doing too much and changing too often. When you've got the audience, when you see the audience going like this, they don't know that they're doing it. They just subconsciously, the groove is hitting them. And that hypnotic kind of thing that happens with it happens when you do something and you do it right over and over and over again, and it creates this energy within them that they feel that pulse, right? And that's what I'm always looking for when I'm playing funk music. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. I post every day on YouTube. YouTube. I post every day on YouTube. My name's Nick Granville. I'm a guitar player from Wellington, New Zealand. I do some lessons, so if you want to hit me up for a lesson, go to my website, which is www.nickgranville.com, and fire me a message. Wherever you are in the world, we can make it happen on Zoom, Skype, whatever, or in person if you're in New Zealand, or if I'm traveling, look me up on Facebook or Instagram, whatever. If I'm in your area, then we can do a lesson wherever I am. Cool. Thanks for watching. I'll play a little groove thing out and show some examples of all this stuff.